Morning everyone, it's Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here. It's the first Wednesday of March. Good grief, can't believe how time is flying. So it's the first of our virtual card and a cuppas of the month. Those of you who ordered the kits, hopefully you have received them. And if you hadn't already guessed from some of the pictures that I've put up on the Facebook, my Facebook page, both kits this month are featuring the butterfly bouquet stamp set dies, which have just been released. They were released yesterday. The stamps there is one big stamp, so the stamp and the dies will be in the new annual catalogue, which is out in May, but the two sets of paper are only going to be available until 3rd of May at the latest, or while stocks last. So just to let you know, if you want the paper, then something you need to get sorted as soon as possible. So the kit that you have that we're using today has your usual envelope. You have a Bermuda Bay card base, and it's cut so that you can use it landscape, so your folds here, but you can use it obviously portrait if you want to. Just looked at mine, obviously I'd not cut mine very well. You'll have two pieces of white cardstock. One's for the innie and the other one's for a layer. You've got a piece of mint macaron cardstock. And then this is one of the papers from the, I want to call it the butterfly bijou. Let's see if I got that right. Yes, the butterfly bijou. It's 6x6 paper, so you've got half a sheet here. So there's butterflies on one side, and there's this has got a marbled effect. I'll show you all the paper in a minute. And then you have a strip of now this is a specialty paper, it's called Natural Touch. It's kind of like, it's like wood, in that it feels like it's actually embossed wood grain. If you can hear my nails run over it. So you've got a strip of that. You will have 3 butterflies. Now these are all different butterflies. So those are the 3 that I've got for this card. These butterflies were cut out from the designer series paper, and I'll show you that in a second. And then you'll have, some people will have left-handed and some people will have right-handed. So this was an edge of the paper that I didn't want to waste. And so you can use this, cut around these and use these to edge the inside of your card, or if you really want to, you can just simply cut a strip and use that for the inside of your card. So that's the kit, and I'll just quickly show you the papers and things that are part of the butterfly bijou. So this is the paper that I've used to die cut the butterflies, and you will find in the dies that there is one big die like this, which is designed to cut out all of those complete butterflies in one go. And of course it also coordinates with the stamp set. So the stamp set looks like this. Now this is only at 85%, so if you kind of look at that and think, oh, it's not going to fit that. The actual stamp itself is one stamp. So again, you will see that the dies match it. The die, I should say, because it's only one die, match it 100%. So it's a nice, quick and easy way of doing a background or doing all sorts of things. This is such a versatile stamp, it's great. It is a big stamp, so if you have it, or you get it I should say, then there are a couple of things to note. One is you're going to need a big block, or you're going to need the stamparatus. And 2, you want to be stamping on a solid table. my craft tables are not solid enough. There's a little bit too much give in them. So I end up going and stamping over on my countertop. Obviously, if you're using the Stamparatus, then that is not an issue. But if you're using the big block, then it is an issue. You do need to have a real solid background. So if you look at this, so this is what's left of the paper once you've cut out all the butterflies. So some of you will have that edge and some of you will have that edge. Okay, so big butterflies, marbled effect. Marbled effect with butterflies on, which is very, very pretty. And then this is just a very sweet, I like this background. I've already used it a couple of times on a card. You have butterflies in the sky, so you've got clouds. And then again, so this is a calypso. This is Bermuda Bay. This is calypso coral. You have butterflies with an ombre effect. And sort of stippled effect. You've got lots of little butterflies here, and then so this is the one that you've got in today's pack, so it's that one side and then the other side is these little butterflies. And then the other card in the cuppa in a couple of weeks time is featuring this paper, so it's got lots of little butterflies and it's got pink and purples on the back. So that's what the paper looks like. You get it's 6 by 6, so this is the actual size. You get 48 sheets, and so there's six different double-sided papers, and so you get 8 of each, because 8 6s are 48, she says, hopefully. That's the right maths. I think so, yeah. Okay, so that's the paper. The specialty paper actually comes as a 12 by 12. It comes as 2 12 by 12 sheets, so it's wood grain effect on the front. And then there's like a stippled effect on the back, which you can use. So you've all got some of this. This is all that I've got left of my pack. So I've chopped it all up for everyone's kits, but that's okay. So the stamp set, it's one big stamp. So you best using a large block on a really hard surface or using a Stamparatus. So Stamparatus is my recommendation, because it means that if you do stamp it and you miss a bit, you can just simply re-ink and just close it again and make sure that you get a really good image. So that's the stamp set. And then the dies, I've already shown you this one. So this is the one big die that it can be used to cut out the paper or the stamps. There are little other dies, so these are just to give backgrounds. So you've got 2 small butterflies. This cuts out a brick effect. This is kind of a modern, I'm not quite sure what we call design, that cuts out bubbles. And then you've also got the what I call the lacy dies. So these will actually cut out. Again, you can use them to cut out. I'm trying to think. You can cut out the images, but if you've got a whole image, you don't necessarily want to. But you can use it to cut cardstock. You can use it to cut the glitter paper. So this is the glitter paper that is in the main catalogue. It's got an ombre effect. Let's see if I can find a sheet. So actually, this isn't a whole sheet. So it's a 12 by 12 sheet. So I've cut one from here and then one from there on another bit, and then obviously you can use all sorts of colours. So this is very, very pretty, so it gives a really pretty glittery effect. Hopefully you can see that. But obviously normal cardstock, it's up to you. I just wanted to show you those because I've got a couple of cards with these on, one of which is going to be a tutorial for my newsletter this coming weekend, so just so you know. So those are the dies. Oops, she says, and she's throwing stuff around. That's all that. I have to remember which way it goes back in. No, not that way. That way. Anyone else have problems when they come to put all their dies back and they can never remember which way round it goes? So there is actually, there we go, 12 dies in this set. Of course, you can get the dies and the stamp set as a bundle and save you 10%, or you can buy them all individually. It's entirely up to you. So if you're interested, let me know. So I guess I should show you the cards that I have already made. So with the kit, I've already made 2 cards. You can hear me pinging up the butterflies. So this was my first card. So I did this as a portrait. So it will stand up with the fold at the top. So it's a 10-fold card. So these were the butterflies I had. And I punched 3 1.5-inch circles out of this piece, glued that piece behind. I had every intentions to put a piece of Whisper White behind this, and I don't know what happened, but obviously my mind was on other things and I totally forgot to. The sentiment, what I did was I actually stamped on my piece of Whisper White that should have gone underneath that, and then I punched it out because it would have been hidden by everything else. So and it's a technique called gutting, which sounds very doesn't sound very pleasant, but basically you just stamp on the bits that you know they're not going to show, and then you just punch them out or die cut them out. So it's just a way of another way of using your cardstock and stuff. So I got my 3 butterflies, punched a circle, stamped the sentiment, which is from Itty Bitty Greetings, and then I punched it out using that punch on label, I want to say. And then just glued it all together. So because I wanted to use the big butterfly, and I didn't really want to have them all like in a line, so I thought if I just had them going in different directions, and then I just stuck on the end of the punch sentiment. In fact, I think the sentiment kind of ends there, so I wanted a bit more of it to show this side, so you're not going to know that. You only know it now because I told you. And then that's the inside. So that was the first card that I made, and I put a bit of bling on. The second card looks like this. I didn't want to have them all in a straight line or anything like that, so I thought, okay, well, I'll just put them all together in. So again, this is fairly straightforward. I went for the landscape. So the sentiment was stamped on that piece of Whisper White and punched out using the 1.5-inch circle punch, which is the same that I used for punching those. And then I simply layered this piece of the specialty paper. I didn't use the whole piece. I just cut a strip, 1.5 centimetre strip, glued it to the piece of white, glued the mint macaron on top so that it hides that edge. Didn't want to have it right up to the top, and then I put the paper on, and then I just glued my butterflies on. So this one's virtually glued down, but I quite like the idea of it overhanging the edges. This one was obviously I've just glued one side and left that one, the left hand side free, and then this one is just glued in the middle, and then I just use dimensionals to fix that to the card front. And I only used one butterfly. I guess I could have used the stamp and stamped butterflies on there, but I just wanted to use what you had in the kit. So those are the 2 cards that I have already made. Oh, morning, Diane. I just popped up, did I? I pop up in all sorts of places, but there you go. So anyway, so without further ado, I guess I'm going to have to put my thinking cap on and do something with the supplies that I now have for this card. Please ignore the fact that I haven't really cut this very well. I'm hoping none of yours should be like that. Let's see, you know what? I will use that as scrap, and I'm going to cut myself a different piece. So if you were wondering how I cut those, it was very straightforward. It's just a sheet of A4 cut in half along its entire length at 10.5 centimetres. And then turned and scored at 14.9 centimetres. And just be careful not to use your cutting blade instead of your scoring blade. So it doesn't take very long to make a new one. So hopefully, this time around, yeah, that's better. Bone folder, I need that. Okay, so let's start again. So a nice fresh piece of Bermuda Bay. So I have my cardstock, I have my piece of white, I have my designer series paper, both sets, and then the question is, what am I going to do? And I've got my 3 butterflies, of course, as well. So as I said, I don't know which butterflies that you have, because it was really just pick 3, put them in a bag. So you should all have 3. Excuse me, I'm just really thirsty. One quick sip of tea. Let's see now. And you know me, I like chopping things up. So, and you'll also find, so that you do know, that the cardstock and the paper slightly longer than what you need. So it's up to you whether you want to trim it so that you have a white border all around, or just have the white border going top, well, I'll say top and bottom, I guess it's top and bottom, isn't it? Like that. Okay, so what if you're going to do that, you just need to simply glue those together and then trim off before you glue it to that. You don't want to be gluing it and then realising actually you need to chop a bit off. I'd rather do it this way than cut them too short for you. So let's do a sentiment first. As I said, we're going to gut this. So let's see, what shall we use? We've got Mother's Day coming up. Or what else have we got? So I'm using the Itty Bitty Greetings. So I've got all sorts of things. Easter's a little bit too far away yet. I'm not sure it's suitable for Father's Day. I think I'm going to do Happy Birthday, because that's simple. So I'm just going to put that on my block. And then I'm going to ink it up and stamp it. And I'm just going to do everything in using my tuxedo black. So you don't want to be stamping and punching down here, because that may be seen similarly there if you're trimming things. So you don't want to go too far into the middle, but at the same time you want to go in such a place where you know it's not going to show. So I've stamped my Happy Birthday, and I'm going to use that long punch, and I'm just going to punch that out. I'm going to center it and punch it out. So I've got that, and now I can continue to put this all together. So as you can see now, you're not going to see that. I'm going to find out which is the top and which is the bottom, and find a pot of glue that actually has some glue in it. Glue on there. Now you can, if you want, trim this as you go, or if you're like me, I'll just leave it to the last and then I'll do it when I need to do it. So I'm going to put that on here. And again, you can put this anywhere you want. You can have it with just a little bit one side, dead set in the middle. It's really up to you. It's your card, and you can even turn it over and use the other side, which is quite sweet. See what it looks like with the, but I would suggest you check what it looks like with the actual butterflies that you're going to use. So no, I quite like that, so I think I will use that side. Be a bit different. It's the nice thing about having double-sided paper. If you don't like one side, there will always be, you'll always, 9 times out of 10, like the other side. And then you'll also find 9 times out of 10 you like both sides. And then it's like a dilemma. It's like, okay, well, which one am I going to use? Because you like both of them. Right. So there's my gutted piece. So you can see that I've, it's hidden, well and truly hidden. Paper snips. I'm sure I had them a minute ago. Here we go. I just want to trim off that excess so it's not overhanging anymore. Like that. Now, if you're worried about postage, you might want to glue that directly to that. Or if you're not worried about postage, then you can use dimensionals. But I've got some glue on that. Oh, there's my hands. I'm just going to glue it direct, because that way I know if I do want to post it. Yes, it will end up being a large letter because of the butterflies and stuff, but it stands a fair chance of not being if I can squish it down a bit. Right, so that's my card base done. Now I could use this, or I could decide not to use this, but I think I will. And now it's 5 centimetres wide. So I'm just going to cut it into centimetre strips, which will mean that I've got some left over, which is fine. So I could then use it on the inside of the card if I wanted to. I'm only going to cut 3 strips, and now that I'm saying it, I suddenly realise that I shouldn't have glued that thing on the front, because I've just realised what I want to do. So I'm going to, I know that, because I cut it, it's 14.4 wide. So let's just cut these at 14.4 to start off with, and then I can play around with them. So I'm going to cut them at 14.4, which is the length of those pieces. And let's see, which one did I cut? Not that one. Oh, I did. So last one. So I've got 3 pieces that are the same length as this. See, like that. So I could just glue them straight. Like so, with a little gap. Maybe use just one butterfly. Just because I've given you 3 doesn't mean you have to use all 3. You can just use 1, 2 or 3. So I quite like that effect. And then the sentiment I can either put down there, or I can have it poking out from here. Right, okay, so I need to glue these on. So if you are going to do this, I would suggest you cut them into strips and glue them on before you trim that edge. And then you can trim the whole lot as the same. Or you can just trim them to the 14.4. I will put all the measurements of the kit up on the Facebook page when I add all the pictures. So if there's past ones that you're interested in, that you want to see, if you go onto this Facebook page, you will find in the albums, I've started putting them in albums, so that's all the cards and all the instructions. I don't give the full instructions of how to make the cards, but I give you the cutting instructions, so you at least know what is in the kit. This isn't quite central on here. I think this end here has got a larger end, so, but I don't mind actually that. I quite like that. And then obviously if you want to glue the butterfly straight down, that's up to you, but I quite like to give it a little bit of dimension. So all I do is I glue, sort of fold the wings up slightly and then just glue down that centre. Try and get this central. I mean, it doesn't even need to be straight. You can actually, maybe I'll put it off-centred, slightly off-centred at an angle. And the thing is, you can play around with these things as long as you blooming like. And then I'm going to put that on that middle bit, and I'm going to put that bit on with dimensionals. She says when I can find them. Oh, there they are. I had everything organised this morning. I was really, really good. Well, that still doesn't mean I can find things once I've organised it, though. That's the only thing. Anyone else have that issue? You put things down in what you think is a sensible place, and then lo and behold, you come to pick it up, and it's like, oh, it's not there. What did I do with it? Seemed to be the obvious and sensible place at the time, but hey ho. Right, so I've just used the edge of one of the mini dimensional squares, rectangles. So I'm going to just tuck that underneath. Let's see. Oh. Yep, I quite like that. That's that. And then I'm going to add some rhinestones, because let's face it, we have to have a bit of bling. She says. I thought I had them to hand as well. Maybe change of heart, use something else. Goodness only knows where I've put them. I know what'll happen. I'll finish this and then I'll find them. But hey ho. Right, let's see what can I grab here. Don't need red. I've used some holiday rhinestones, so they're still rhinestones, and I think I'll just use the plainer ones, the light greeny blue. Put one on here. Actually, maybe you don't even need anything else. I think I'm just going to leave it as that, because I'm very much a believer of less is more. So, so that's the front. Now I've got, because I've only used that one butterfly, I could still cut out these and put them in and just have them going like that. Or I could, in fact, use the butterflies that I've still got left. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to be a bit cheeky on this, and I'm only going to glue the central part of that particular one. I'm not going to put the big one in, the bigger one, I should say. It's not the big one, it's the bigger one of the two in. And have it like that, so that when the card is open, it will sort of sit up like that. And then we're going to just put that inside the card. So that is my third card. I'm not going to close it just yet because I want it to dry, that butterfly to dry, and I know what's going to happen if I close it. It's bound to twist around or something. But this one should be pre-dry now. So you can just lift up the wings if you want to, so that looks more like it's flying. So those are the three cards then. Now I should have said earlier, I know that the stamp, I keep saying stamps but it's one stamp, even though it's lots of butterflies. I know that the stamp is on back order, but it's only until the 8th of this month, so it's due in any time now. So you can still order it Just don't be put off if it says on back order. They are due 8th of this month into the warehouse, so, and I think they probably have ordered enough, but obviously they've already been very popular. So so I hope you've enjoyed that. So those are my 3 cards. I will take the photos, put them up on this Facebook page in an album, and obviously this video live is recorded. It gets automatically recorded to Facebook. So if you want to check back on it later, then you can do so. So that's it for today. I will be back next week with other things to share with you. It won't be butterfly. Actually, I might do some more butterflies, and I'll just show you some different techniques that you can use with the actual stamp. So yeah, I will be back next week at 10 o'clock on the Wednesday, and obviously Card A Cuppa is in 2 weeks. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you'd like to order, obviously just send me a message if you can pick up from me. I'm posting an order tonight, so if you do want them and can collect, then I can put them on my order for you, and there's no P&P to pay, or otherwise just go directly to my shop on oakfieldcrafts.com and click on the shop link, and then you can have them delivered direct to your home. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe, and I will hopefully, all being good, get to actually see you all soon. Take care. Bye.